All our lives are stories, they tell us who we are. About me, my friends, my family, those we...
Hello, this is Picture Books for Older Readers, and I'm going to be exploring visual literacy. My name is Dr. Belle Alderman, and I'm the director of the National Centre for Australian Children's Literature. Welcome to the National Centre for Australian Children's Literature. Here are plenty of treasures at your fingertips. A little bit about us. We hold 57,000 Australian books for young people. 5,600 of these are in 79 different languages. We wish to share the creative process with you, so we include authors' papers and manuscripts like Jackie French and Emily Rodda. We also share the illustrator's artwork like Bob Graham and Alison Lester. To give the insight into publishing, we have publishers' archives like Omnibus Books and Working Title Press, and organizations' archives like the IBI Australia and the Australian Children's Laureate Foundation. But now, our website can come to you. We have freely available databases, we have art galleries, and online resources. Our databases include the Cultural Diversity Database, our first one, the Aboriginal and/or Torres Strait Islander Peoples Database, and we also have a small one on Australian verse novels, but now the Picture Book for Older Readers. Here is your invitation to explore over 1,000 Australian children's books, including all the databases and free online resources for further exploration. Pictured here is The Water Tower, authored by Gary Crew and illustrated by Stephen Woolman and published by Era Publications in 1994. This is an iconic picture book, approaching 30 years young, an early science fiction picture book. In this database, Picture Books for Older Readers, we include 258 Australian children's books. We're aiming these books at grade 5 through secondary. You'll notice that for every book, there are Australian Curriculum version 9 included for each one. You can search on 300 different subjects and link up different books together. Each of the books includes about a 300-word annotation, and within that annotation, we're talking about the art and the media and the styles that have been examined. We also talk about literary techniques. And included in this database are 1,500 free worldwide online teaching resources, and it's continually growing. Next slide. Because this is a fairly large database, I wanted to concentrate on just one particular strength, and that is visual literacy. This slide shows you that there are 133 different books that have been retrieved using the term visual literacy. This is an invitation to read the words, to analyze the images, and to interpret possible different meanings that might be there, or different possibilities for the story, to interpret your own personal intuition, and to compare that with alternate views, and to share those with others, and then to look again. But notice on the left-hand side, you can search by author, title, publisher, start date, end date, different themes and subjects, a wealth of information about each one. Pictured here is Australia's iconic picture book, Animalia. Animalia features an eclectic choice of This presentation features an eclectic choice of picture books for older readers, both old and new, each with a rich visual and literary offering. Animalia will soon be 40 years of age. Can you believe it? Our centre holds 98 different editions of this book, including calendars and posters and objects such as book plates. It includes a range of alliterative language fun. For example, for the J page, it's jovial jackasses juggling jugs of jelly in the jungle. Or for the P page, proud peacocks preening perfect plumage with a plethora of words beginning with a P. Panda, peacock, penguin, a parade passing a prison with pipers, peace signs, Punch and Judy show. along with in the distance Pisa, the Leaning Tower. Full of a literal fun and full of cultural and historical references. This is a more contemporary book. It's written by Maxine Beniba Clark and Van T. Rudd and published by Hachette Australia in 2016. Both of these, this is their first picture book, but they are well established in their own literary and artistic fields. The Patchwork Bike is an unusual book. It captures the child's playful and imaginative imagination. The star of this book is a makeshift bike. It made up of a bent bucket seat, a handlebar made of tree branches, tin can handles, wooden wheels that go and spin winkety-wonk, a flour sack flag, painted on lights, and a bark number plate with the initials BLM, a sophisticated reference to the Black Lives Matter movement. These feature the adventuresome travels of this little bike as it races through the village, right through the children's mud for walls home, and past their fed-up mom. Notice that there are subtle references to race and poverty. The cardboard art medium, too, is a subtle reference to a lifestyle with very few extras. Nobody Owns the Moon, written and illustrated by Toby Riddle and published by Burbet Publishing in 2019. This book was published 10 years earlier by another publisher. Toby Riddle says that he used wide-ranging media and collage because he wanted to convey something of the actual mixed media nature of cities themselves. The end papers are quite solemn, featuring non-communicating individuals. It is a world that appears isolated and perhaps uncaring. Young readers might ponder why Humphrey and Clive are the only animal characters among the city's throng of human inhabitants. Why doesn't anyone notice? Sean Tan has written and illustrated The Lost Thing, published by Lothian Books in 2000. It has a simple storyline. A boy ventures out to collect bottle tops for his collection. He runs across a sad and lost thing and tries to find a home for the lost thing. There are challenging themes in this book, including homelessness, bureaucracy, and apathy about society's social conditions. The images are visually intricate and quite complex. There's no white space. The crowded scenes feature multi-layered images, unrelated text and diagrams, visual allusions to well-known artists and well-known famous architectural items. The colors reflect a cold and uncaring city. There are plenty of jokes and asides to ponder. The meaningful subtitle is A Tale for Those Who Have More Important Things to Pay Attention to. And most of us would know that this book was turned into an animated short film, which won an Academy Award in 2010. Jacqueline, A Soldier's Daughter, written and illustrated by Pierre-Jacques Aubert, and also illustrated by them. The publisher is Ford Street Publishing in 2021. The story is based on the memoir of the author's mother. During the years when she was 7 and 12, she was in war-torn Europe. Essentially, this is a book of a child's perspective of war, featuring childhood fears, needs, and dreams. It uses a highly unusual artistic technique, creating miniature models of characters and settings. The miniature figures, the war scenes created, you can imagine the challenges of building, photographing, and lighting these. They seem to draw the reader and the viewer into the story with these highly detailed settings and positioning of the characters, which invariably evoke a strong emotional response. It's so easy to forget that these are just toy soldiers. How to Make a Bird is written by Meg McKinley and illustrated by Matt Otley, published by Walker Books in 2020. This book provokes readers to ponder the meaning of words and illustrations. Here are some of the questions. What is it to be human? Is it to think and create? To have the courage to share your thoughts or create art with the world? Perhaps to reveal the creative process, to offer illustrations that suggest limitless possibilities. It's a highly sensory text that features real-life information about the anatomy of birds, while Matt Otley's illustrations offer intricate technical diagrams with luminous landscapes in the background and a young girl watching her vivid imagination take flight. The curved horizons and endless skies suggest the limitless possibilities of the creative process. The book is also available as a multimodal experience with music. This is a year 11 student who responded in this way to this story of Rodric Ride. The textual section of the book is purposefully vague to allow the book's morals to be interpreted universally and without the need to confront the true horrors of war. However, the visual narrative is what really elevates this book, depicting the loss of freedom, sadness, fear, and destruction. The illustrations are not only rich and deep, but powerfully match the text, amplifying my emotions of sadness and happiness at the end. So this concludes 8 examples of 133 books in this database that feature visual literacy as one of its strengths. There are others that are waiting for you to explore the art of visual literacy. I'd like to leave you with these 3 thoughts about visual literacy in picture books for older readers. Books that are strong in visual literacy entice all ages to read the words, to analyze the images, and interpret how words and images work together. In picture books for older readers, the images and words are often intricately intertwined, perhaps each telling a different story for different audience levels. Together, the words and images can be interpreted in different ways, depending upon the reader's age, experience, and knowledge. In this next slide, these are the references that I found most valuable for using this, including an article by Gary Crew and one by Sean Tan, but each of these will give you more information. These are hyperlinks, so I invite you to come back and use these at a later stage. And this is more about picture books for older readers. We invite you to use these links to come and look at the database to access the picture books for older readers. And you'll see that there's a link to reviews and media coverage on our website, what people thought about the picture books for older readers. There are more suggestions for using picture books for older readers and a promotional flyer that you can use that explains the background, who was involved, and how it was put together. I would just like to thank you on behalf of the National Centre for Australian Children's Literature for coming to experience examples of probably Australia's best hidden secret, the rich treasures that are buried within picture books for older readers. These unique books by Australians for all ages are admired, awarded, and devoured the world over.
All our lives are stories, they tell us who we are. But me, my friends, my family, those we love and love no more. Live our lives as stories, not always knowing why, but the